Hi, here is another video on my channel. In this video we are going to talk about the properties of real number in chapter number 1, that is called the real numbers. It is the first chapters of the 9th class new course book, so let's get started. I write the properties here. First of all, I write the additive properties. So what is the additive properties? Let's see. First we have the Closure property. So let's see what is the Closure property. We have two elements. These both elements are belongs to the real number. A plus B belongs to R, that is called the real number. So let's see the example of Closure property. 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. 2 and 3 are both real number, and then we add this number and we get the 5, that is also called a real number. When we add two properties and we get the answer of real number, that is called the Closure property. So let's move on to the cumulative property. In cumulative property we have two elements on both sides, two elements on right hand side and the two elements on the left hand side. We add this both element and we get the same answer. The left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Now let's move on to the associative property. In associative property we have three elements on left hand side and also three elements on the left hand side. We add these properties and we get the same answer. So it is called the associative property of additive property. Now we have a last two properties of the additive property. So let's see what is this. The first is identity. The identity is हम किसी भी नंबर रियल नंबर में ज़ीरो ऐड करेंगे तो हम वही नंबर गेट करेंगे. For example, 5 plus 0 is equals to 5. When we add some number is 0, we get the same number, that is called the identity. The other property is inverse property. Inverse property में हम कोई भी चीज़ उसके inverse को ऐड करेंगे तो हमारे पास ज़ीरो का आंसर आएगा. When we add or subtract two properties of the inverse sign, we get the answer 0. In additive properties we use the add symbol and we add the real numbers. In multiplicative property we use the multiplication symbol and multiply the numbers and get the properties. So let's get started. What is the multiplicative property? Let's see what is the multiplicative properties. In additive property we add the numbers, but in multiplicative property we multiply the real numbers. First of all, the first property is the Closure property. In Closure property we multiply the two real numbers and get the answer in real number. For example, we multiply 2 into 5 and then we get the answer 10, that is also belongs to the set of the real number. The other property is cumulative property. In additive property we add two numbers in cumulative property, but in multiplicative property we multiply two numbers and that get the answer in real number. For example, 2 multiplied by 3 in left hand side is equals to 3 multiplied by 2 in right hand side. We get the same answer on both sides, that is belong to the real number. The other property is associative property. In additive property we add the three numbers in additive identity, but in multiplicative property we multiply the three numbers on both sides. For example, 2 multiplied by 3 into 5, and on the right hand side as like the same, 30 is equals to 30 is the answer. In identity property we see the number is multiplied by 1. Remember one thing, the number is not multiplied by the 0 as like we add 0 in the additive identity, because when we multiply the 0 with the number we get the answer 0. So remember the thing, we multiply the number with 1. The other property is inverse property. In inverse property we multiply the number with the inverse of the other number. The inverse of a number is 1 over a, and then we get the answer 1. For example, we multiply 7 into 1 over 7 on left hand side is equals to right hand side 1 over 7 multiplied by 7. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, like the video and share with your friends.